Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the studio. You are here with Kelly Weiler, Girl Upcycled, and we are located in a little town called Zanesville, Ohio, just about an hour east of Columbus. So absolutely love it when I get to meet y'all when you come rolling in. If you're new here, please say hello, introduce yourself, and tell me where you're coming in from so we can kind of get to know each other. We're all friends here, right? Today, I have a really cool little project. This is probably going to take, I would say, at least 2 videos to complete. So there will be at least another part to this. So there will be a part 2. I don't know if I'll need a part 3. So we'll just kind of wait and see how it goes. Hello, Leilani. Good to see you. Hello, my friend. But I have this cute little gossip bench. This is a really cute vintage piece. I'm going to try to pull it in a little bit closer. These are really, really popular back in the 50s and even way before that. But I think this one probably dates back to the 50s, if I'm thinking correctly. So that's what we're going to be using today as our upcycled piece that we're going to be working on. And I started off with a dark color, but it's not going to look like this when I get done with it. You can just start off with any kind of a darker tone. And what this does is it's going to give your piece a little bit of depth when you get the layers of paint on top of it. So it's just like I do when I'm painting on canvas. I like to start with my darker colors towards the back, and as I come forward to the front surface, we'll be using lighter colors. So it's kind of that same thing. So I've already applied a color. Let's see, I think this one's old school, but you can use your base coat as weathered wood. You could use a little black dress. I have a bunch of little black dresses here that would be perfect for your bottom coat. But any of those dark colors would work for this. Hello, hey, Rebecca and Brianna in the house. Hello, Brianna, over on YouTube. So glad you're here. Judith, Marcia, my friend, I miss you. Hello from Idaho. And Tiquanique, I hope I said your name correctly. And Karen's in the house. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me grab my paint real quick. And I don't have a definite color plan here. I kind of know what I want to do, but I think that's kind of the fun is, it's kind of an adventure, right? Yes, this is a gossip bench is what they used to be called. The reason they would call it that is because they would sit here with their telephone sitting here, and with back in the day, you could only go so far with the telephone wire, and so they would have a place to sit and they just gossip about every little thing. So, but these are really, really cool nowadays for like charging stations. You put them in your mudroom or by your door, and then you can just plug your cell phones in. There's a compartment down under. You could put your iPad under there to charge it. So you could use this for a really cool little charging station, and then a little seat for when you take your shoes on and off, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I saved the seat to paint live with you. This is just like a vinyl seat, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint it the base color. I am going to do this on part 2 because I'm going to do some artwork on the seat, I believe. Okay, so I've already cleaned it really well with a degreaser, and I'm just going to go ahead and just want to put some paint on it. Easy as that. Okay. Do you have any questions about painting vinyl like this? It covers pretty well. That's one coat. You will need, like if you're just going to paint vinyl and you're going to paint it a solid color, then you're going to want to have at least 2 coats on here. Almost done with mine, says Marcia. You're doing one too? Yes. We find these all over in our area. I'm actually in Ohio, So I don't know if this is an Ohio thing or what, but we find these quite a bit around, and they're always like have this little scalloped back, and so they're everywhere around here. So I like to completely change the look up. So I'm gonna just hurry and paint this real quick so we can get on to the fun layering part, but I did want to share that you can just easily paint any kind like this. A lot of times these covers are, if you noticed on this one, it was very dingy. It was very, you know, had a lot to be desired. Not much to be desired, I guess I should say. So this is just a really quick fix. Now, if you are doing this a solid color, I would use a nylon brush. Right now I'm just using my Paint Pixie brush because I'm actually going to be doing some artwork on top of it. So I'm not too worried about my brush strokes right now because I know I'm going to be doing more layers. So, you know, it's your choice, but if you want a smoother finish, you can use a nylon brush. And once you get it on there, you could even just put a little spritz of water on it. And that water, it's wet, so it will level out, and it will also help take those brush strokes out of your paint, okay? So I know you're not going to be able to see this, but I just sprayed it down, and it's already starting to level out some of those brush strokes that I put in there, okay? So again, the color I'm using, this is old school, but you could, this would work with Little Black Dress. This would work with any of the darker tones. You could use layered chocolate or weathered wood as your base coat, and that would be just perfect. And again, if you came in late, I like to start with the darker colors on the base coat because it's going to give it some depth when I start to add the layers, okay? So I'm going to set this aside. I'll be finishing this up on my next video where we'll be doing some artwork on here, probably some kind of cool florals or something kind of cool like that. So I'm going to set this aside. I'll be right back. Now for the fun part. Must be a Zanesville thing. You haven't come across any in Columbus? Oh gosh, I find them all the time. Nancy says, I have one and I put it in the master bedroom. What color is yours? So this is going to be layered, 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 layered of colors. So I'm just going to keep kind of adding colors until I get it kind of what I want. Now I know that my end result, I want to make sure that I'm seeing my old 57. So this will definitely be used on my top coat. I'm going to have to grab a plate. Be right back. My goodness, I hope you're all having a great weekend. It's Saturday. Hope you're doing something fun this weekend. All right, so I have both of my Paint Pixie brushes that I will be using. I'm going to rinse this one out real quick over here. I have a couple of things of water. I want to make sure I wash that out before I get started. Okay, so here's the colors I'm working with, gang. And if you are over on YouTube, or if you want to catch the products that I'm using and the links, I will be putting all the links over on my YouTube channel later on. So you'll be able to link right to it. So I have pulled so far, I have Mint Chip. I have Salty Kiss, which is this really bright, yummy kind of green. I have some Blue Iris. So I'm not real sure how much of that I'll use. I also have Fire Starter, you guys. This is one of the newer ones in the DIY collection. And I also have Liquid Sunshine. Okay, woo, pretty bright, right? So this is gonna be kind of like very colorful, and we'll see here how it turns out. So I'm gonna start, let me start just with the Salty Kiss, and I'm going to just lightly drag it a little bit. To where you're almost putting a, I would say like a dry brushing would almost look. My color, dark green with pink roses. So I'm just doing really light. Strokes. I don't even know how much you can see of this. If you're having trouble seeing, let me know and I'll pull the camera a little bit closer. I meant to get a little bit of this done ahead of time to do a sample on the back end of it, and I was actually pretty busy today. We had a lot of people in, so which was nice. So nice change of pace. Line in so you can see. It's a nice change of pace. Have some people in today. It was kind of cool. So this is a very kind of a fast layer. I like to get my sides before I do my top. I'm just kind of lightly dragging it. Thought I would do one more project before I left for the week to send y'all off with, huh? So I hope this encourages you guys to do a project of your own. Don't overthink it. You don't see how, like, I'm not overthinking this, you guys, right? I'm just kind of having fun, painting very kind of free-spirited. It's a very free-spirited style. So I like that. Okay, so I have a good bit of paint, kind of evenly distributed. My color, you like the Salty Kiss? I'm not going to overthink right here because I do have the seat cover that's going to go right there. So I'm not going to waste too much of my paint on that, too much of my energy, but this is the fun part, you guys. I wish wish the camera was just a little bit higher so you guys could see the top of this, but it is what it is, huh? Hopefully you're all doing something fun this weekend. If you are, let me know what it is. Okay. So that first coat of color is on there. Hello, Kelly Rowe. Nice to see you. So you can kind of see a hint of that green on there. I'm thinking, let me see if I can tilt it. So you can see just kind of, whoops, very random and sporadic, right? Not a whole lot of thought. Just get this color on here. We're going for multiple layers. And I'm going to start in with, what do I want to do next? So many colors, so little time. Really, that's how I feel. All right. All right. So let's go with fire starter, right? Just a little bit of that. Let me put that brush aside and grab my other brush. Start playing with this. And I'm going to wet this down a little bit. My paint, as it dries in the can, it gets a little bit thick. Add a little bit of water to that. Start just kind of lightly adding color to it. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to add it over the layers. And very lightly. I'm not really wanting it to blend into the wet paint, so I'm going to kind of let it sit there and just for a second and dry. It's going to look a little crazy at first, guys. I'm not even going to lie. It's going to look crazy. That's okay. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like if I blend this a little bit. I'm going to get a clean brush to do the blending. Something soft. Aha. How about my blending brush? Just going to lightly blend that out a little bit. It's going to soften it. Wet it. Soften it. I said this is a blending brush I'm using. Pretty, huh? Now I'm going to take my brush. I'm just going to keep it clean. I'm going to keep wiping it off. You redecorated your craft room. Awesome. Looking very boho. Kelly says, I'm doing absolutely nothing. I have a slight hangover. Oh, girl. I'm so sorry. I hope it was good, though. You know, it was a really good time. Sometimes a hangover's worth it, right? Need I say? Can y'all see? Okay, not even, y'all can't even see what I'm doing, can you? So if you see, I'm just kind of lightly blending. Let's see higher. Let's see if I bring you closer. Can you see? Hello, Dee. How are you? I'm just going to, and I'm wiping my brush off as I go. Okay. Oh, nice. Pretty cool. Right? So you guys by now are starting to probably see why I had that dark undertone, right? It's allowing that depth to show through. Okay. We're just kind of lightly feathering out. I am not like highly pushing down too hard on here. Let me move my light closer. Hopefully, is that helping? Hopefully that will help. Okay. So again, I'm going to dip right into that bright orange tone, which is called Fire Starter. You guys really are not even able to see. I wonder what I could do so that y'all could see a little bit better. Let me think. I was thinking this would be a really good angle for you. It's just not. Let's see if I hold it. So we're just basically going to continue this as we move along. Can see now, cool, nice. All right, so now back to that blending brush. I really feel like I need to, you know what I could do? Let me see if I could prop this up like that. That's what would help you. Let me see if I could find something to prop. Let me find some little cans or something. Sorry, guys. I didn't even think about that. Here's one. Hold on. Because I'll tell you what, I always hate it when I'm trying to learn and watch a video and I cannot see anything they're doing. That's frustrating. Oh, that might be a little bit too big. Hold on. Figure this out, guys. It's too big too. I might just put it on the floor and do it. How about that? How about them apples? Let's just put it down here. Boom. All right. Is that better? So you think I always think I'm all set up and good, and then something happens. Thanks, Kelly. My base color is, you can use anything that's dark, okay? So don't overthink your base color. This was old school. You could use weathered wood. You could use little black dress. You could use layered chocolate. It doesn't really matter. Most of it will be pretty much covered up. You're just needing something dark. You could even use boho blue. It's a really dark teal. That would work. You just need something really dark on the under painting there. Okay, so let's go ahead and blend this out. And my blending brush is where? It's right here. And let's just kind of start blending. I do sell the blending brushes as well. And I do like to clean it. I'm just doing really light misting, okay, so that it's blending and it's softening, okay. I know you guys have probably seen me do something like this several times, but it's been like, it's kind of like the patchwork. So this is just a little bit of a different technique. I'm just kind of softening and blending. You're welcome, Kelly. Now go lightly. Blend this out. Now, if it starts getting muddy on you, that's what you don't want. You don't want it to get real muddy, right? When too many colors blend together, they kind of get muddy. So if that starts happening, you want to let it, give it a few minutes. And this paint dries really, really quick, gang. Fun, huh? Okay, so that's the orange, which is fire starter. Let's do something else. I'm gonna get a little bit of blue iris. Be my next, this is my next victim. Let's do my little spatula. I got this little, it's like a little catalyst spatula, and I'm going to just apply with that, okay? I'm just going to kind of lightly start dragging. You guys are like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Creating a mess, huh? Pretty much. But this, a lot of this is going to be covered and toned down. So we're just putting a lot of interest and a lot of just color on that undertone right now. This is also creating texture. I don't know if you can see very well. Just created some texture with that. That was my knees. Be cool. It's looking pretty bright, and it's looking like, you know, as the kids say, it's a little extra. But we'll be toning things down as we progress. So I'm kind of going for that layered, kind of chippy look, like it's been painted for years and years and years. And you found this really cool old weathered bench, and it has just the best patina on it. That's kind of like what I'm going for with this. So it's been aged and painted and handed down for years, and every single person has painted it, right? This is Blue Iris, is the name of this color. It's a beautiful cobalt, just a nice bright pop of loveliness. Love it. And I'm just taking my little spatula. I do sell these. I sell everything I'm using today. I sell. So if you need any of these catalysts are really nice to use, and they're soft. So I mean, I do use knives, metal knives as well. Sometimes the metal knives, if you're a little rough with them, or if you have a heavier hand, as I like to say, a heavier hand with the metal knives will go down into all the layers and will scrape down into the wood, which can be a cool thing. So just know it when you go into it, what your tools do and why and how, right? So that's kind of the key to the whole thing. So this is when it starts getting a little bit thicker, gang, is when we start applying with the knife. Any of the knives, and these are considered knives, the silicone that I'm using. Oh, I know, I do too, Kelly. I love Blue Iris so much. Are y'all able to see a little bit better in this angle? Sure hope so. I'm probably going to have to, do the back of it maybe next week, and I'll do that off camera, the back side of it, because I know you guys won't be able to see any of that. So we're just scraping this on here. If you are going to do this with a metal knife, just do a very light touch so you don't scrape down into the wood. You want to get those legs too. Don't leave out those sexy legs, gang. Yes, you can see well. Hello, Miss Jolie Burge. Hello, hello. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. So I just thought, this has been sitting in my studio for so long, I can't even tell you. Naked, I call it naked furniture. She has been sitting here naked for months and months, and I just thought it is time. It is time to get this naked furniture. So sometimes I spend so much time on the bigger pieces that these little guys get shoved off to the side. They get forgotten. And I tend to do, I've been doing so much more artwork lately that has kind of been forgotten because of that. So that's all I'm doing. I'm scraping that on there. Let's use some other colors. You can have a lot of fun with this, you guys. Don't hold back with this. I want to tell you, don't hold back. You can have a lot of fun with this because you want those bright pops to kind of like peek through, right? And that's kind of what we're creating right now. Even though it feels a little vulnerable when you're doing it, just get that out of your head and just keep going. and kind of just intuitively go towards these colors that make you feel good and make you feel happy and all that good stuff, and put those layers on there, okay? Because like I said, we're going to be covering some of this up, so we're not going to overthink it. All right, so I'm going to clean my little spatula off. Got hurt this morning. Oh, Julie, I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay. Prayers to you, my girl. I hope you feel better. That's no fun, is it? Urgent care is no fun. Even on a good day, it's no fun, let alone during a pandemic. All right, next one. Who knows the color? Boop, 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 boop. I'm gonna let you guess. It's pretty thick. Who knows what I'm using? Okay, I'm gonna pull you forward. And I will, the next time on my next video, I'll try to have this better set up so that it's not quite as back and forth with the angle here. Again, with the spatula, we're just going to this one here. Now, you could totally just keep blending. If you don't like the rugged texture that I'm putting on, you don't have to do that. You could just be layering and blending like I did the first 2 times, right? But right now, I'm just kind of like lightly tapping these colors on here. So that's putting texture. It's not blending because I'm not really pushing down too hard. It's a little crazy, huh? Crazy good. Sometimes you just got to do it. Cut and broke my big toe. Oh, girl, I'm so sorry. Liquid Sunshine, Marsha, you get the virtual hug. Got it, girl. This is the one thing that I have to say. Not one thing, there's many things, but with the DIY paint, because it is clay-based, this is what the clay-based paint is great for, is the building texture. And see how I'm just moving it along. It's what it's good for. Look at this. I mean, you can let it really get, look how thick that is, guys. Look. Ooh. Yeah. It's almost like a plaster as it dries. I mean, I can add water and reactivate it and thin it down if I wanted to, but I like to use it in this state. It's really fun. This is where you could use like raised stencils and things like that with it. You really need to try to get, Julie, yes, girl, you do. Spend a lot of time on a telephone. Spent a lot of time on the bench. Talking? Talking or painting? You knew I was going to say that, right? You knew it. So we're going to put some down here. And we're just going to keep layering like this, guys. Layer, layer, layer. And this is going to be pretty. Remember, if you caught the beginning of this, remember what I told you, my color that I knew that I wanted to have as my main focal is Old 57. So think about Old 57, which is that beautiful bright turquoise, which is right there. Think about that color, which will be kind of like one of my top colors, with all of this bright yumminess popping through. It's going to be just beautiful. And it's just a fun project to do with all the layers like this. You don't have to put a whole ton of thought into it. I mean, this is something fun if your kids are old enough to help you paint, if they're, you know, if they're old enough to not spill and that sort of thing. This would be something to get them involved with, to help you do. They would love it. Kids usually are not as afraid to do things like this, like adults are, okay? So think about that with your kids, those of you that have little kids or grandkids, when you are working with them, let them paint intuitively with this kind of a style, okay? Let them enjoy that, and hopefully if they have people that are supportive of that, they could really create some great art someday. I meet a lot of people that would be great artists had they not been told to stop and pull back when they were kids. Does that make sense? So stop and think about that, you guys. Next time you want to say, no, don't do that to your kids. Let them, you know, if they're not hurting anything and they're not wasting, you know, the paint. I know kids sometimes can, but just let them have fun. So that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to give you a close-up of this. Spent time talking. That's so fun. All right. Let's raise this up, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a close-up. And I'm so sorry. This is so wonky. I'll try to do a better job next time. But let's give you a close-up so you can see kind of how crazy it looks right now. It's just kind of this crazy, spontaneous explosion right now. But this is part one, so we're going to return next week and we'll do part two, and we will be making sense of this mess. There is a method to my madness. Is that what they say? So there is a reason that I'm doing this, and you'll find out next week. Meanwhile, take notes of the paint that I used and the steps that I took, and make sure you tune back in next week for part two, and we'll kind of do the next remaining layers, and it'll start to make a little sense to you, okay? All right, you guys, are there any questions before I tune off of here? Before I take off, I want to make sure that you go to YouTube, you hit subscribe, and you hit the little bell so that you get notified when I do my little videos, okay? Because you guys hopefully are learning some things. I always have my kids, and they are adults today, and boy, they do draw so nice. There you go. All right. Well, guys, have a great, great weekend, and I hope you guys do something creative and just do something that makes you feel good inside. And I'll see you back here next week for part two of this, and we will get this mess all figured out, and it all makes sense. All right, we'll see you next week, guys. Bye.